Okay, hello everyone. I think this is the third time I'm recording this video. The past one I liked, but then I went to rewatch it, and apparently the audio just was not actually there. So this will be the third time we're recording this one, but that's okay. That's totally fine. So this video is going to be going over how to interact, or I guess how to download GitHub Desktop onto an image of Linux, how to, I guess, link your GitHub Desktop to GitLab, which is the repository that we are using as of fall 2020, as well as kind of just what that all looks like on a little bit more basic level. So to get started, we're going to be downloading GitHub Desktop, and that wouldn't usually be anything out of the ordinary, except it doesn't inherently have an installer for Linux, so we have to go ahead and do that through the command line. Isn't too bad. So make sure that your server is set up, and go ahead and jump on into that. Just so that you can, I don't know, get into the server. I guess if you are watching this in the future and the team is no longer using GitHub Desktop and GitLab, then some of this might not pertain, but it's still a video to go ahead and learn how to install GitHub Desktop and link it to a GitLab. So the reason we're using both GitLab and GitHub Desktop is because GitLab is going to be where our repository is. GitHub Desktop is going to be how we are interacting, interfacing, etc. So we need to go ahead and find a couple of commands to throw in our terminal. Remember how to get the terminal. Either go to Show Applications and go into Terminal, or bookmark it on your side by adding it to your favorites and then just clicking it. And what we're going to do is we are going to Google, oh, not that, here. Actually, let me do this. Minimize this really quick. Okay, it'll be GitHub Desktop Linux fork. That was weird. And then we're going to click on this link. And then we are going to click on another link in here, which is github.com/shiftkey/desktop. This is just going to kind of be where, it's all at. And what we're going to be using is we're going to be using these 4 commands right here. So, don't have to be a genius to find them. They're just on the internet, literally right there for you. So I kid you not, all we're going to do is we are just going to copy that first one and right click paste, enter, input that standard password. And it'll say okay, and that's cool. Step 1 done. We're going to do the exact same thing with the second one. So copy it, and it's a little bit longer. That's okay. And you won't see anything there, but that's totally okay. And then we've got to just basically check for updates is what this third one is here. Boom. Shouldn't take too long. And of course, if I'm going too fast, feel free to pause the video and go through and do all of that. And then the last one here, the one that might actually take a second, because it's actually the installation one. Hit enter, and it'll start working. Working its magic to do that. If you haven't downloaded it before, you'll be prompted a yes or no question, just saying, hey, do you want to reserve this space? Go ahead and hit yes. As I've already done it, I don't really have that. And you'll notice that it popped up over here. I had it added to my favorites already, but you should be able to find it simply enough now through Show Applications and typing in Git. We'll bring it up. If it does not pop up just like that for you, please contact your lead or someone else who knows how to get this down. For fall 2020, there'll be myself, I guess myself, Sam is also a good resource for this sort of stuff. So cool. So let's go inside GitHub Desktop. That's step one. That's downloading it. Let's link it. So if you click on GitHub Desktop, whether it's there, you will not get opened up to this screen. You will actually get opened up into a login screen. So go ahead and log in with your username and password that you use for your GitHub. Should be the same username and password as your account for GitLab. So if you don't know that, or you need to know that, it should be the password that you gave Sam in Slack for fall 2020. For not fall 2020, just ask your lead or whoever's in charge of adding people to the GitLab with how they're doing that. So we're going to need to add a repository, and the way we're going to do that is by cloning it. So you should have something that looks fairly similar to this screen once you log in. That'll say clone a repository, and we're going to use this URL right here. So where are we going to get that URL? We're actually going to get it from, that's the wrong screen, get it from the GitLab. So if we go to the GitLab homepage, I currently have, let me check, I have code 2019 v2 and 2020 in here. So let's get the tutorials repository in here. So we're going to go back to this GitLab and go to whichever one you want, whether it's tutorials 2019 or 2020, and find this blue clone button. This is the overview, details, whatever page. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So go into there, find that blue clone button, and we're going to clone with HTTPS. So hit copy URL really quick. Let me tilt this down. You can actually see me. And hit that clone with HTTPS. We're going to go back over into the image, and we're going to hit File, Clone, and then paste that link in there. And you'll notice that's where that path is going to be. So you hit Clone, and it'll take a second to load, and boom. Now, what does this look like if you go up here into your files, and then in the document, you will have a GitHub folder that should have whichever repository you've added. So I have all three now. And if you go into it, you'll have those files. So those are the files that I guess the hello.txt is what I made for the last time I made this video. But it is literally, that repository is now on your image file system. So if you download VS Code, which is my preferred text editor, you can also open it up in Visual Studio Code there and look at that. So let's see what that looks like. So if we're inside Visual Studio Code, don't worry about this. I'll have another video installing that stuff later. I can literally go into the hello.txt file and boom, here's what we had. If I say, hey, that's a little boring, we're going to go with, this is cool. And hit save. I can now go back over to the GitHub Desktop tab, and now I have a change here after I hit saved, and that is deleting that line and adding that line. If you add a file, so you completely create a new file inside your text editor, you'll have a green box here, and if you delete a file, you'll have a red box, but that's cool. So we are going to go ahead and put a commit message in there of words. And the next thing to know is this box right here, the current branch. So we don't actually want to be on the master branch. You never want to be committing directly to the master branch. So we're going to make a new branch, and this is going to be changes. That'll just be the branch. Usually they'll be more specific, but we'll do that. And we're going to go ahead and bring the changes to that branch. And then you'll notice that this right here is changed to publish branch. So right now we created the branch, but it's actually only stored on our computer. It's not in the GitLab yet. So we need to publish it. So we're going to go ahead and hit publish branch right here, just so that that pops up. And then we can hit commit changes. and that'll load for a while. I found that it's easiest for some reason just to go ahead and click fetch origin for it to kind of finish up that process there for some reason. And then you'll notice this says push, and we have this thing right here. So that commit is still inside your branch, which is still locally on your computer, but not in the GitLab. So we want to push it up there. So we're going to go ahead and hit push origin. And it'll load here. And then once it does all of that, we're good to go. And if we go into here, you'll notice, if we click on this, I think we might actually need to refresh it really quick. 1 second. Oh, wait, we're in the master branch right here. We need to be in the changes branch. So we're gonna go to repository, branches. We got the changes branch right here, and we have hello.txt with this is cool. This is cool. That's what we just did. So if, say, someone else says, hey, you should have added punctuation here. Let's add a couple exclamation points, right? Because that's cool. Go ahead and commit those 2 changes or whatever. So it's now changed. How do we get that down into our file system? So now if we go back here into GitHub desktop, before you always, if you think that changes have been made, or even if it's a good idea just to check in general, go ahead and hit this fetch origin button. It'll kind of check, see if there's any changes, and boom, now we have a pull origin because it's up in GitLab, but we need to pull it down to our local computer. So we'll go ahead and hit pull origin. And you'll notice, if you saw it in the background, that updated because now the file is that new file. So say we want to push that into, say that code is completely debugged, completely ready to go, and we want to push it into that master branch now. Now, the reason that we have branches is because the master branch is going to be full of completely working code. And when you want to start a project, you're going to create a branch off that will have, that's going to be where you develop your code. It'll be an exact copy of master, but you can edit it and it won't actually affect the master branch. That's going to be huge because if you screw up something and it messes with other code, we can still run master, on whatever we're doing, and it'll still be fine. But now your code is all debugged, it's ready to go. We got to push it back into master to update that thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to create merge request. Click that button. And we're just going to do some changes into master. Describe this, so we just added I can't spell. Added stuff. Why not? I'm too tired for this. We're gonna go ahead and not delete that source branch, and then submit merge request. And then what's gonna happen is you should probably send a message to your lead or someone else, and they can go through here and approve it. Give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, write some comments if something needs to be changed. And then once that's all ready to go, we hit merge, and that'll actually take that and mesh it back in terms of changes. So it'll say merge. And now if we go into files, actually branches here, and you'll notice that this is merged, which means that this entire branch has been merged into master. If something in the changes branch gets changed, that merge tag will go away. But in master right now, you'll notice hello.txt is the updated one. Cool. So that's all I've got for this video. I hope that was pretty self-explanatory. We learned how to download GitHub Desktop on Linux, on a Linux image. We learned how to link our accounts between GitLab and GitHub, and we learned how to do some very, very basic GitLab stuff, the stuff that we'll kind of need to know. Feel free to comment down below if you have any questions, if I explained anything wrong, or if you maybe want to learn a little bit more or something. And then, it's YouTube. So, you got to you got to like, comment, and subscribe, of course. And with that, I will see you in the next one.